dito, unless you're caught in flagrante delicto and unless i-inquest ka, a number of days ang ibibigay ng sasagutin ng abogado mo. So mahaba pang proseso, and that's for simple cases, for theft, etc. Lalo pag for murder. And even sa inquest, may time na binibigay na papakawalan mo. So I just wanted to make that point na ibang-iba. And just an observation, Madam Chair, dito po sa information on the surrender and transfer, nakalagay kasi dito, number 14, the ICC representative informed Mr. Duterte the next step that would be followed, that he's going to be transferred to the ICC detention center by the Dutch authorities. He was informed that he was being arrested in the implementation of ICC warrant for arrest, that he was informed he will be checked by medical professionals. He was informed he has the right to receive family visits. He was informed that his first appearance will take place soon. He was informed he would be taken to hospital. He was informed he would receive a folder at the detention center with his rights and information on the next step, no? And then si E.S. Miguel Diang, sinabi niya, what did he say about sinabi niya the next day pa, or hindi, may sinabi siya after the hearing, di ba? Oo, na basically na hindi pa nila alam yung charges. So again, tama si SOJ na iba sistema nila. For all we know, they were following their system. But that's my point nga. Iba sistema nila sa atin. And we subjected not only an ordinary Filipino citizen, but a former president to that. So parang on trial din tayo doon. So, I'll defer back to you, Madam Chair, but later I have some questions on fact.
Yes, sa news footage, naipakita rin na si former president was checked by medical doctors. Kaya lang, ang sabi, hindi naman doktor ni presidente yon. Is it not under the PNP standard operating procedures na yung arestado may karapatan humingi ng doktor ng kanilang sariling doktor, yung independent and doctor of their own choice, ang sabi sa inyong standard operation procedure noong 2012, di ba itong kinikilala ng kapulisan natin?
Ma'am, he has doctors who came over, and I believe they are from Cardinal Santos. We offered also the service of the PNP doctors, and we also offered the services of the hospital doctors there on the Philippine Air Force.
Hindi, pero ang mahalaga, yung doktor, talagang doktor niya.
Yes, ma'am. They came from the Cardinal Santos. Is their doctors. What they are actually asking, they even ask for ECG, and the ECG that was very, very different from the ordinary Filipinos, and they are asking for, I think, executive checkup. That's one thing that we did not accede to.
Kung sinasabi
Madam Chair,
ninyo,
if I may.
Yes, Senator Jinggoy. So walang katotohanan doon sa sinasabi na hindi ninyo pinagbigyan yung sarili niyang doktor?
No, ma'am. Not true, ma'am.
Okay.
They requested the doctor. The doctors arrived. He was given an ECG. Subsequently, they asked Ms. Hanilet, the common law partner of the former president, for a list of his prescribed medicines. She declined. We asked a rundown of his pre-existing medical conditions. She declined. We asked what allergies he had. She declined. We asked that she board the flight with him going to The Hague. She declined. So all those meds accorded to him were given, and the doctor was given, and we tried to extract as much information as possible, but they all declined.
Okay, Senator Jinggoy, I believe that Secretary John Vic said that these were untrue, that this was all fake news, that in fact his rights were honored, and in fact they provided an ECG which is above and beyond the usual practice. Yes, Senator Estrada, please.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Let it be known that I am not protecting or I am not defending anyone, much less the former president of the Republic of the Philippines, President Duterte, since I am an ally of this administration led by President Bongbong Marcos, and at the same time a friend of Vice President Inday Sara Duterte. Now, since you've been asking the questions addressed to Gerald Torre, may I ask Gerald Torre, how did you think did you handle the arrest of former President Duterte properly?
Yes, sir. I do, sir. It's proper.
It was proper. But when I saw the video, it was really, for me as a citizen of this country, it was really unbelievable. It was a very, very big disappointment. Because I can relate, General. Because when we were arrested way back 2001, together with my father, the same thing happened. All right, we were in the wee hours of the morning. We were the policemen barged in our hospital room at the Veterans Memorial Hospital. Us, they wanted us to be transferred to another detention cell because after the May 1 siege, at ano sabi ng mga police, kalad ka rin na yan mga yan pag ayaw. At the same time, when I saw the video, parang nag-flashback sa akin ginawa ng mga kapulisan ng araw sa amin. At ang sabi mo, hihilahin ko yan, hihilahin ko yan. Is that what you said, Gerald Torre?
So it's already all optics and tactics already because it's already.
No, I am asking you. Did you say that? Hihilahin ko, hihilahin ko.
Yes, sir. And I actually made good of it, sir.
No. What prompted you to say that?
Sir, I made good of it, sir. Sabi ko, sir, hihilain ko yan. And I went back to AS
Bakit
Medialdea, handcuff him.
Bakit mga sinasabi? You know, your statements based on the video may reflect the PNP as an institution. Baka sabihin lahat ng ating mga kababayan, ganyan pala yung mga pulis. Masyadong wala man lang respeto sa matanda, sa isang dating pangulo. Ganon din ang ginawa sa amin eh. Can you justify why you said that hihilahin ko yan? Nakita ko si dating Pangulong Duterte, di naman lumalaban. What prompted you to say that?
Mr. Senator, respectfully, the threat of hihilahin ko yan was not towards the president, the former president. It was ensued after a heated argument between his counsel and General Torre. In no way was the former president threatened with bodily harm.
Yes,
Who was addressing the sinong sinasabihan ni Gerald Torre? Was it the lawyer or was it the former Duterte?
Lawyer, sir, Attorney Medialdea. And actually, sir, after that, we went back to him, placed handcuff on him after reading him his rights and arrested him for obstruction of justice. And after
All
that,
right.
sir, I brought him to the bus and came back again and told Attorney Delgra he's next. And again, sir, I will reiterate with all credits goes to the former president because after he saw that I'm already very, very serious in bringing him into the plane, he said, okay, let's go. And I told Romy, the PSG, to just escort him and he went voluntarily to the bus that brought him to the plane.
sisingit
Alright,
lang ako Senator Jinggoy. Kasi binabasa ko rito yung standard operating ng PNP. Ang liwaliwanag naman eh. No torture, no force, no violence, threat, intimidation, or other means to be shared free will to be used against the arrested person. Eh di the more so ng arestado. Eh sabi mo nga, ikaw na nag-admit free. Eh talagang you used force. Eh bawal po yun.
Ma'am, it is, I placed ES Medialdea under arrest for obstruction of justice.
Eh, sabi
And-
nga ni Senator Jinggoy, hihilain mo pa.
Yes, ma'am. I did because I have to get into their heads to make them to make it very, very clear to them that we are already very, very serious
O,
of
tama
loading the
nga.
president
Oo
to the
naman,
plane.
General, pinapaliwanag mo, pero bawal ang paggagamit ng dahas, ng pananakot,
Ma'am,
ng
just to be clear.
intimidation, or any other means. Ang
Ma'am,
liwanag eh, nasa kapulisan yan eh.
Just to be clear, operationally, there was obstruction of justice. It was the decision call of General Torre to place him under arrest for obstruction of justice. Now let us separate what happened to the president.
You're talking about Attorney Medialdea.
Yes, ma'am.
Eh, paano yung iba?
No one else was armed, ma'am.
Yung
No,
attorney.
no, wait.
Yung abogado.
If I may, Senator Amy.
Yes.
Madam Chair.
Ayan.
Sino yung kinaladkad nung isang pulis?
Yung security na nakaitim.
I think it was General Torre na hinila yung isang abogado.
Dalawa yun eh. Yung abogado, hinila yung upuan, di ba? Tapos yung nakaitim na si Q, eh kinaladkad din.
Senator Delgra, sir, because he is next to be arrested. And because of that, the former President PRRD saw that I'm already that serious. And he said, he prevented the situation from further deteriorating and escalating. So he said, let's go.
Isn't he entitled to a counsel of his choice, General?
Yes, sir. For 12 hours, he was there.
Oh. Can't he speak to his client? Bigla nyo na lang...
They are there speaking to each other.
Ano?
They are there for 12 hours speaking to each
Alright.
other, sir.
One more thing that I noticed in the video, no? Ang sabi ni PRRD, papasukin niyo yung anak ko. At ang sinabi mo, hindi ko siya papapasukin. Wala. Gerald Torre.
That is a decision. That is my call, sir. That is my decision. Considering that
Okay.
he had already been assisted by 3 lawyers all throughout
Okay.
that time, sir. And gabi na ho yun, sir. The request was
Ano?
made at around mga 9 o'clock na, sir. 11 hours
Gerald
after
Torre, ganito,
the
ha?
first arrest.
Tanggalin mo na yung titulo ni Inday Sara. Kalimutan mo na siya na Vice President siya. Pagpalagay natin hindi siya Vice President. She is an immediate member of the family. Nung kami po ay nakakulong, ang immediate members of the family, 24 hours pwede bumisita sa amin. Nakakulong kami. Hindi pa nakakulong. Anak ito. Bakit hindi niyo pinapasok?
Maliban doon, is this not a violation of RA 7438 that requires that you guarantee access to an attorney in addition to the immediate family? The president also said na yung anak niya, yung babae, abogado ko yun, papasukin nyo. Hindi nyo pinapasok. Eh, abogado yun eh.
Actually, sir,
Exactly.
first to answer the question of Senator Estrada, sir. I have told the president that they can visit him at his detention facility because at this time the order of the day is to load him into a plane. So that's what we endeavored to do, and that's what happened, sir.
Ano niya bibisitahin yung tatay niya? Sa Netherlands. Hindi naman dito tinray eh. Hindi naman dito kinasuhan eh. Sa ibang bansa eh. Oh. Bakit hindi niyo man lang binigyan ng kortesiya yung anak na isang abogada na magkukonsulta? Katulad nga na sinabi ko kanina, yung mga nakakulong nga, 24 hours pwede bumisita ang immediate members of the family. Bakit ito hindi pa nakakulong, hindi niyo pinapasok yung anak?
Our mission at that time, sir, is to deliver him to
My God.
the body
Kahit
who issued the
ano
warrant,
mangyari,
sir.
Nasa batas yan. Nasa batas yan, General. Immediate members of the family, lawyers, priests, etc., etc. I should know. Nanggaling ako dyan. Tapos ito, hindi naman nakakulong. I'm not defending President Duterte. I'm just explaining the rights of an accused. Because naging akusado rin ako. And I don't want that to happen to anybody else. Dapat naman nagbigay kayo ng konting kortesiya o respeto man lang sa mga dating presidente dahil naranasan namin yan. Nung kinulong po yung tatay ko, ganun din. Kawalang respeto ang mga pulis sa amin. Porket nawala na ba kami sa kapangyarihan, ganun na lang. Eh matanong ko naman sa General, wag naman po sana mangyari, God forbid. Sa pag sinapit ng ni President, pag sumapit ng ganitong sitwasyon si Presidente Marcos, gagawin mo rin ba yon sa kanya? I hope not.
Ang liwanag po ng batas, kung ma-follow up ko lang si Senator Jinggoy, tama po siya. Hindi lang yung immediate family, medical doctor, pare or minister, any national non-government organization, CHR, international non-government accredited to the Office of the President. Lahat yan may access, pero pinagbawalan ninyo. On 2 counts, immediate family na, abogado pa niya. Bakit ganun?
Ma'am, I think that's sub judice. I think we should be wary of many of the things we are mentioning
Bakit
here.
po naging sub judice yun?
Ito kasi, ano ho yun, habeas corpus po ang petition. So everything about the arrest will be asked by the Supreme Court.
Kanina pa natin
kung pwede ho.
pinag-uusapan yung aresto.
Pero ano ho I think that we're just passing, parang lumalampas na po tayo sa boundary.
Senator Jinggoy, pa?
Ang sinasabi ko lang, the manner on how the former president was arrested. Because ayoko naman mangyari sa darating na panahon na magkakaroon naman tayo ng ganyan. Sana makapagbigay lang ng korting kortesiya man lang, nakausapin yung mga abogado, pero nakausapin yung mga members ng immediate family niya, sana naman binigyan niya ng pagkakataon. Kaso mo, nung nakiusap si dating Pangulong Duterte na papasukin yung kanyang anak na abogada. Tanggalin mo na hindi siya, na vice presidente siya. Abogada at anak niya, member na immediate family, sana naman lang binigyan niya ng pagkakataon. Makita niya yung tatay niya bago niyo siya isinakay sa plano. Yun lang naman yung sa akin. Masakit. Ako, isang anak na meron din akong tatay na ginanon ninyo. Masakit para sa akin.
Pakipaliwanag din. Maraming salamat, Senator Jinggoy. Marami tayong pinagdaanan, kapatid. Kaya't eto nga, dinudib
Madam
natin
Chair,
to. Yes, Secretary John Vic lang po.
Kay Vicky, kay VP, kay Senator at sa iyo, hugot ng mga anak ng presidente yan.
Sumpa. Secretary John Vic, itatanong ko lang, why was obstruction of justice? Pakipaliwanag lang. Anong ginawa nila na obstruction of justice?
I think General Torre would be the to explain that, ma'am.
General? Sabi niyo nag-obstruction of justice kaya aarestuhin na rin ninyo si Attorney Medialdea. Ano po yung ginawa ni Attorney Medialdea na obstruction of justice?
We're about to load an arrested person into a plane to transport him to the tribunal who issued the warrant. And Attorney Medialdea is preventing us from doing that. He shouted at us and intimidated us, including the president intimidating me.
Alam ko malaking tao si Attorney Medialdea pero hinarang ba kayo? Tinulak ba kayo? Wala namang ginawa eh. Hindi naman
He did,
nadadaan
ma'am.
sa salita yung obstruction eh.
He did, ma'am. So I do believe that under that circumstances, I have to arrest him and I did. I do believe that I used the reasonable force to ensure compliance for him to step aside for us to load the former president to the plane.
So yun lang yung obstruction dahil nagsisigawan yung mag-asawa.
He is preventing us from doing our job of loading the former president to the plane.
Hinarang ba?
Yes, ma'am.
Anong ginawa? Hindi
Nakikita
namin
naman sa
makita
video
eh.
eh. Nakikita naman
Kita
sa
ko
video.
lang, pinipilit niyo iposas, hindi magkasya yung posas.
Yes, that's. His blackmail way. He is preventing us. He actually other chair at the side with the president for the former president to sit, which is already very much delaying everything because the plane is already ready to fly.
Ba't kayo masyadong nagmamadali?
We are going. Unang-una, ma'am, ang reglementary period, mamalasin naman kami pag hindi namin ginawa ang trabaho
Bakit?
namin.
Anong reglementary period? Anong period yun?
The Article
Dahil
125.
sinabi na nga ni Executive Director sa ating PCTC, na diffusion lang naman yun eh. Wala nga commitment pinag-uusapan dun eh. Wala nga red notice, pambira eh.
There is a warrant.
Tagal-tagal na ni Arnie Tevez eh. Wala pa rin, di ba?
This
Ba't
is
kayo
a,
nagmamadali? Ano yung reglementary period mo?
may I refer it to the SOJ, ma'am, if the SOJ wants to answer that.
Hindi ba pwede kayo na muna? Mauna lang kayo, tapos sa si SOJ. Pwede?
Okay, ma'am.
Okay.
My main processes during the time is that I have implemented a warrant, and it is therefore the person is already arrested virtue of a legal warrant, and Article 125 comes into play of the revised penal code, which is entitled Delivery of Persons Legally Arrested to the Proper Judicial Authority. And I do believe at this point the judicial authority will be the ICC. Therefore, I have to abide with that Article 125 of the
So
revised
inaamin
penal
mo
code.
warrantless arresto. Kasi yung Article 125 ng RPC does not apply kung amin mo walang warrant.
At the many stages, ma'am, all the many other
Make up your
laws.
mind, General Torre. Warrantless arrest ba to o may warrant? Kasi ang liwanag naman ng Article 125 ng revised penal
I do
code.
believe that I have a warrant at this time. Just don't want to be.
Hindi walang reglementary period. Umili ka. Pag warrantless arrest, edi may period. Kapag may warrant, walang period.
The same, ma'am. I have to deliver
Hindi
him to the
pareho
judicial
yun,
proper
kapatid.
authority.
Hindi magkapareho yun. The reglementary period only comes into play when there's a warrantless arrest in accordance with Article 125 of the revised penal code. Di po ba? At saka may kinalaman yun sa delivery of the accused and arrested. Di po ba?
And I'm being cautioned by the DOJ, ma'am, that it may be subjudice to discuss that because of the habeas corpus pending in the Supreme Court, ma'am.
Pati ba naman ang revised penal code? Naging executive session. Pambihirang buhay ito. Okay. Senator Cayetano?
Ma'am, can I have a few questions, baka 10 to 15 minutes and a short introduction lang. Okay. So good afternoon ulit, gentlemen, ladies. Pasensya niyo yung aking introduction. I'm not imposed on you. This is my personal code, di ba? So more than being Alang Cayetano or a senator, a former Secretary of Foreign Affairs or former speaker or congressman, I believe I'm an ambassador of the Lord Jesus Christ, di ba? So I'm not imposing that on anyone. USEC here will tell you, ambassadors don't have opinions. Ng principal nila, yun ang iyong opinion. Hindi ka pwede magsariling opinion. So when we use prayer na your kingdom come here on earth as it is on heaven, you're actually aligning your government and your culture with God's culture, di ba? And God's purpose. Yung pinakasimple is do good or promote good, prevent evil. Parang sa police din, Sir Marbil, di ba, na prevent evil, do good. Saan nagkakatalo? Nagkakatalo dun sa mga pro-Duterte na the drug war was a war for peace and order. It was a war because many pushers and to certain effect addicts who committed crimes were making people unsafe. So to those who are supportive of that, they're doing God's will of promoting good. Doon naman sa human rights activist, ano nila, accountability. So kahit yan ay pusher or addict, hindi dapat patayin na lang or EJK. Wala tayong complication if Duterte was more like FVR or more like Pinoy because his language was more diplomatic. So you wouldn't hear FVR despite being a distinguished soldier, one of the founders ng special forces, 'di ba, ng even sa police, 'di ba? So pero kasi si President Duterte may lengguwahe, pag lumaban patayin niyo yan. His explanation is that yun kasi naiintindihan ng kriminal. Pero ang police, aral yan, so alam nila tama't mali. So if you looked at the videos when I was the foreign minister, I had nothing to do with operations, but part to nung explaining to the world what was happening and part to nung communications. It was both based on the foreign policy and the president allowed me to put a little bit of my opinion. So ang stand namin doon during that time, and this is where I'll start my questions, SOJ, is that lahat ng mali iimbestigahan. So the only way that President Duterte will have a chance to show na walang systematic culling of addicts, extrajudicial killing, walang crimes, is individual one-on-one investigations. what confused everything during that time? Meron po kasing issue once ang sila Secretary De Lima noon, ni-redefine nila yung extrajudicial killing to 35. Kaya yung 13,000 to 18,000 na patay every year during the Aquino administration, suddenly Duterte administration, so nung time nila, sinabi nila hindi extrajudicial yon. So nandun sa AO, tinanggal nila yung mga activist na hindi daw extrajudicial killing yon. So pagdating ng Duterte time, basta't patay at hindi natural causes, extrajudicial. Okay? Pero klaro din naman na dumabi din because nga, once you started the campaign, meron talagang away among the syndicates, meron, from the start, Duterte said, meron politiko, meron police, may businessman, lahat yan may involved sa drugs. And no one of us naman doubted that. Ang question lang, yung due process sa mga police at politiko dun sa drug war. So, klaro tayo dun. So, eto lang yung question ko. SOJ, feel free kung tingin mo, sub judice or issue na to, but factual lang, no? I think this is of public record. Former Senator De Lima was CHR, Committee on Human Rights Chairperson, 2008 to 2010. Tama, no? So, no one disputes that. Sa pagkaalam ko, wala siyang case during that time na siya'y CHR. I'll just check that, Madam Chair, and then submit it to the committee. But ang pagkaalam ko, walang case. Okay. But eto siguro masasagot ng DOJ kung hindi ngayon, just forward the answer. From 2010 to 2015, despite the creation of former Senator De Lima noong 2008 to 2010, ang sabi niya, mahirap kumuha ng witness kasi nga mayor pa siya noon, tapos malakas daw sa presidente noon. I think he was peace and order head nung region eh. At 2010 to 2015, siya ang DOJ secretary. Sa pagkaalam ko, wala rin siyang final na case. To your knowledge, may final ba ang DOJ noon or special prosecutor against Duterte ng 2010?
I have no idea,
Yeah.
sir.
Can we double check?
I will double check,
Yeah,
sir.
okay. Sa pagkaalam ko po, sir, wala. Okay. Ang point ko is that either wala siyang kaso, meaning wala siyang ebidensya, because if she had, why didn't she file it? During the time na siya nakaupo na walang poder si Mayor Duterte. Okay. Fast forward, 2016, September pa lang, so June 30 ka ng senador, siya, I was an incumbent noon. July, last week of July ang third week ang SONA, so July, August, September. No? Wala pang 2 buwan as senator, nakakuha daw siya ng 2 importanteng witness, si Edgar Motobato and former PNP officer ba siya or Arturo Las Cañas. Again, I won't make a judgment here. As far as the 2, but dito niya ginawa, okay? Again, no cases filed. And kagawa ng hearing was very political. I was just testing the credibility of Edgar Motobato and Arturo Las Cañas. For all I know, they were very credible. Pinatayan ako ng mic dito sa session. Inagawan ako ng mic, ini-intimidate ako. And although namagitan si Senator De Lima, hindi niya sinensure, hindi niya pinagalitan yung umalis ng mic. And anyway, history is the record. Ang point ko, still they did not file cases dito sa Pilipinas. Pero hawak nila yung 2. Sabihin mo nang walang mangyayari, I don't agree, but sabihin mo walang mangyayari kasi panahon ni President Duterte yon. So again, fast forward, no? From 2022, June 30, when President Marcos took over in Marcos administration to present, do you know of cases filed against President Duterte, whether it's murder or crimes against in the Philippines?
I think Senator Sonny Trillanes filed cases.
Okay. So meron.
But this went to the office of the Prosecutor General, who immediately forwarded the said cases without going to my office to the Ombudsman. And there, it's already, it was locked in there already.
Yes.
It never went back to us.
As we're discussing naman SOJ, this is factual lang naman, di ba? May case ba, wala? We're not making judgments dun sa cases. Because, but ang point ko kasi, kung walang case, bakit? Kasi kung walang ebidensya, point for ICC to take it up. Kasi wala ngang ebidensya. If it's because hindi matry dito for whatever reason, di ba, pinoprotektahan natin, our justice system doesn't work, then dapat sa ICC. So I don't know the amount of evidence attached to the complaint of Senator Trillanes. Again, I won't comment. Factual lang yon. I have my opinions, but I'll keep my opinion to myself. No. But in June 24, 2022, so ano pa to? Duterte pa to, no? Kasi June 30 pa ang Marcos, di ba? Nag-file ang Solgen sa ICC ng deferral request. So you're aware of this. Okay. So tignan na lang nasa page 315, no? Kasi I have the ayan sa ICC. I think you talked about jurisdiction but hindi nagsentro sa Article 17 din pero sa ICC hindi dun sa batas natin. Okay. So I think the deferral was based on 18-2. So just for the record ng mabilis lang. I haven't even read that yet but just for us understanding and then baka makatulong not necessarily on what side but makatulong sa Supreme Court, no. Okay, Article 17, issues of admissibility. Having to paragraph 10 of the preamble of Article 1, the court shall determine that a case is inadmissible where, okay, ICC to, Rome Statute which we ratified and then we withdrew, no? Sabi A, the case is being investigated or prosecuted by a state which has jurisdiction over it unless the state is unwilling or unable genuinely to carry out the investigation of prosecution. So again, SOJ, I won't put you on the spot, but for me, 2008 to 2010, hindi naman unwilling at hindi naman unable to carry out yung state. This was the time of President Arroyo. 2010 to 2016, to be fair, niratify yung ICC 2011 pa. So naging effective 2011. So wala na yung 2010. But for me, 2010, 2011, ganyan, hindi unwilling ang state. In fact, pumirma nga sa ICC, hindi rin unable yung state. Wala lang denial. Letter B, the case has been investigated by the state which has jurisdiction over it, and the state has decided not to prosecute the person concerned unless the decision resulted from unwillingness or an inability of genuinely to prosecute. In general, SOJ, SILG, no? In general, Sir Marbil, Chief PNP, in general, I don't remember that the Philippine government decided not to prosecute, di ba? Kasi under our permit laws, if you find probable cause, even the president cannot stop it. Eh. Even ang pardon natin, iba sa US Constitution. Sa pardon, you can pardon right away sa US. Kailangan, ano na, di ba, final, di ba, kailangan final and executory.
Final
diba?
judgment.
Final judgment, di ba? Final judgment. So kung nag-a-appeal ka pa, hindi ka pwedeng humingi ng pardon. So I don't think we stopped any case or refused to The third one is the person has already been tried for the conduct in which the subject complained and trial is not permitted. So I think this is their version of double jeopardy, no? So wala din yan kasi wala pa namang kaso si former President, former Mayor Duterte. Letter D, the case is not sufficient gravity to justify further court order. I won't comment dyan kasi nasa ICC yan. Except that, ang nilagay nila, at least 19, and then ba yung 23 o 23. So, I have a little bit of a problem that kasi pag sinabing crimes against humanity, naaalala mo na yung mga dictators of the old sa Africa or some in the troubled areas of not the untroubled areas of the Middle East na grabe ang patayan and everything. Diba? So to put the Philippines there with President Duterte, I think it's a little na gamitin mo at least. Diba? Kasi kung sinabi mong from 17 to 1,000, may idea tayo. Pero at least 17, ano yon? Baka 18, baka 19. And don't get me wrong, every life matters. Pero iba kasi yung crime against humanity, iba yung murder. No? Again, hindi ko nilalang ang murder in the sense na one life yon, you should still be tried, di ba? So for the record, if we have evidence, we should file the cases here against President. He should face here. Okay. So mahaba pa to, so hindi ko babasahin lahat, pero just to go to 18, challenges to the jurisdiction of the court or the admissibility of a case. So pwede kasing mag-file yung Solgen. And then nandito, if a challenge is made by the state, the prosecutor shall suspend the investigation until such time as the court in accordance. So, ang point lang dito, and correct me now or later on kung mali, is that at any time, kung alam natin may investigation, pwedeng sabihin nung state tayo na sandali, we're hearing it here, or may ongoing dito, or kayo. Of course, they can overrule us. They can say, no, we don't believe justice will be there. To my knowledge, during the Duterte time, never tayong nag-intervene na, except etong kay Solgen ng June 24. I mean, wrong ha, kasi knowledge ko lang to, but June 24, nag-intervene siya. Sinabi nilang, please postpone, di ba? Hindi ko pa nababasa anong dahilan na to postpone. During the Marcos administration, we did not, no? We had no filing sa ICC whether na ituloy niyo yan o wag niyong ituloy yan.
It was Secretary Guevara who filed the Philippine position with the ICC.
But that was still Duterte kasi September.
No, it was already our time.
Okay.
Yes.
So I'll refer to that. But did we ask them to stop or to proceed or
Yes, we were asking them to stop, but
we asked them to stop?
But we failed the test. We didn't win the case.
Okay. Did they tell you why? Was it our justice system or they said na pwede pa rin? Or just submit
It's actually the ruling also that what is being tried here is not a country but individuals who may have violated international humanitarian law.
Sige po. But clear naman dun sa Article 17 and 18, the state intervenes but it's individuals naman eh. 'Di ba? So I won't go into that na. So I'll move on to sinabi ni SOJ kanina investigations are ongoing. 'Di ba? Whether it's individual or groups, whether police or nothing to police, 'di ba? Na sa lahat ng extrajudicial
But it
killings.
has not been easy, Mr. Senator.
It's
It
not.
has not been easy.
To your point, I don't have it right now, ha? But when Senator De Lima said inimbestigahan, I looked at the investigative capacity of the PNP during the Aquino administration. Parang 1/3 din lang ang naimbestigahan. And of the total na naimbestiga, it was, I will correct my numbers, ha, but it was like only 20% of those investigating were trained for investigation. That was a long time ago at minana din lang ni President Aquino yon. But ang point ko, there was no substantial difference between the investigations in the Aquino and Duterte.
The difficulty that we had from 2022 is that in wrongful death situations throughout the country, where something foul was suspected, there were no police reports.
Okay.
As a matter of practice, there were no police reports on wrongful death situations. And when we tried to dig further and we spoke to the medical legal, the most known medical legal person in the country, Dr. Fortune, when she investigated a wrongful death situation, the death certificate indicated cardiac arrest as the cause of death. But in the autopsy, there were bullet holes in the head of the
Well,
person.
that is in itself is evidence, di ba?
Yes,
If there
it's
was
evidence.
if there was widespread na walang support, and that's the first time I heard that, because when I was SFA foreign affairs and I was asking, sinasabi nila, sir, lahat yan at dapat pagka-suspicious ganito yung sistema, no? And kung meron forensic na cardiac ganyan, so at the very least
when we looked at the records of situations, there were really no police reports. Maybe 95% had no
Yes.
police reports.
So anyway, that's for another hearing, etc. Ang point ko lang, our justice system is working.
it is working.
It is working. I mean,
Yes.
it has its ups and downs, and my common belief na pag administrasyon ng presidente, may konting protection for that. May ganun belief, whether it's true or not. But this isn't anymore so 2008 to 2010, 2010 to 2016, kung saan man, kailan man nagkaroon ng break-up yung unit team, hindi na panahon ni President Duterte ngayon to. So,
Actually, what the cases that we are speaking about were filed by their families in the ICC because they could not get justice in the country.
Yeah.
I think that's one thing that nobody wants to acknowledge is that there was a failure of our justice system for a long time. And they had to file their cases in the ICC to get any attention at
Yes.
all from anybody who cared. Because for the longest time, ito mga biktima po, yung mga namatayan, yung mga pamilya nilang namatay o kaya napaslang sa drug war, ay wala nang mapuntahan. Kaya doon ho sila nagpunta sa ICC.
that's why I said SOJ na may belief na pag panahon ni Arroyo, it's very hard to go after Arroyo. May truth o hindi in the sense that meron na presidential immunity while president. Pero pagkatapos hindi, di ba? That's why after President Erap's time, nakulong siya. After President Arroyo's time, nakulong siya, di ba? After President Aquino's time, wala naman nag-file ng kaso kay President Aquino. Okay? So kung ang belief, wala kang justice kay Duterte during his time, I won't comment, but that's a belief. But 2008 to 2010, hindi sila nag-file. 2010 to 2016, hindi sila nag-file. And then ngayon, pwede sila mag-file. Diba? So, and walang so I mean, the ICC should also look at our patterns and system. It's not only the period. So the second point I want to make is that for example, no, si Mr. Las Cañas as Mr. si Motabato, one, hindi naman dinala ni, and she's free to manifest here kung mali ako, hindi sa DOJ or sa Ombudsman yung dalawa eh. After dalhin sa Senate, hindi ko na alam kung anong ginawa nila. Okay, two, assuming it was because they think at this time, did anyone bring Edgar Motobato and either to the DOJ, NBI, or to the, pwede bang dumiretso protection or that?
Marami ho kami nakakausap na possible witnesses.
Yes.
But not them.
Yeah.
But not Matubato.
But
not Las
example lang,
Cañas.
yung dalawa lang, no? So, tingin ko lang, di ba, if the rest of the world, the European human rights activists, for the record, SOJ, if these gentlemen are brought to you, and I'm not talking about the prosecutorial lang, I'm talking about the whole machinery, the witness protection, the NBI, the PNP, the CIDG, will we investigate?
Yes, we will.
Yes.
We would have. We would have.
Will, di ba? So, in the same manner that General Torre is complaining about vloggers who have fake news about him, if there are complaints about Marcos vloggers na fake news, you will also investigate CIDG, di ba? I mean, people might believe or not, but you are duty bound to investigate whatever side, di ba?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. But of course, during Duterte's time, they did not believe. If kasuhan mo Duterte vloggers, they don't believe may mangyayari, di ba? But I think there were some na cyber libel even during Duterte's time, no? So the point lang I'm making, and it is not addressed to you but to the international community, is that the Philippines is a vibrant democracy. Our economy is good. The peaceful transition from Aquino to Duterte, from Duterte to Marcos has done as well. So yes, we have problems with politics now, but which country doesn't? The US, Europe, and the US, di ba? May mga significant difference sila. I mean, many countries are at war. We're not at war. Di ba? We have problems with China, but we're working it. Di ba? We have problems with other countries. We're working it out. We have problems with Pogo. We're working it out, di ba? So my point is, di ba, na in my view, dito dapat, yes, accountability, pero dito dapat trinay ang ating dating Pangulo. The last point I want to make is that iba pa rin pag former president. I mean, sa US, na US Constitution nila that the Americans can't be tried elsewhere, but lalo kung US president. So sa akin kasi, kahit former siya, hindi na siya presidente, he's still a symbol Diba? So like me, diba? You know how hard I went against President Arroyo when she was president. But when I was speaker, may pinagawa siya sa House, winelcome ko siya, etc. Kasi yung office, even if hindi ka na doon, nirerespeto mo pa rin iyon diba? So
Maybe I can.
Go ahead, sir.
I have to tell in the Senate that nobody's happy with what happened.
Okay.
Wala akong maligaya sa nangyaring ito. Ngunit kailangan lang gawin namin yung aming katungkulan. Sa tingin namin yun ang aming katungkulan, ginawa namin ang aming tungkulin.
And sir, that's where we disagree kasi tingin namin there was another avenue to go to court. But as you, we probably part of the litigation. So let's see the, not opinion, last few. So who received the March, so kailan po na-issue yung warrant? March 10 or March 11?
I know
March 11, sir.
March 11.
March 7, it was under seal.
Okay, under seal.
Yun. Tapos March 11,
Who or what office received it?
The PCTC,
PCTC.
sir,
They received it. Then from them, Santrin and Smith.
to all the relevant law enforcement agencies.
Law enforcement. Then,
Yes, there are 3 Interpol connections in the country: NBI, immigration, and of course the PNP.
okay. Then when it was unsealed, was it immediately executed or did any relevant government lawyers review it muna to see whether a Filipino citizen, whether the rights of a Filipino citizen was being
Sir,
impeded?
just to be clear,
Yeah.
After the warrant was served on March 11, 3 a.m., it was only in the postmortem that we learned about the unsealing on March 7. So there was no information to us in the effect that it was unsealed on March 7 until after the service of the warrant.
Can you enlighten me on that sec? So the thing was
Yes, we learned about the unsealing of the warrant post-arrest, sir.
okay.
When he was there already, it was revealed to us that it was opened on March 7, although not transmitted to any members of the government.
Okay.
Only received notice, formal notice. I think when the unsealing happened, that's when all the work started.
Okay.
I think
So-
that was the basis of President,
I thank you for that SILG because that that factual na meron na nung March etc. So
But
I
again,
won't.
sir, I have to clarify that
Yes.
there was no one in complete knowledge of the unsealing until after the arrest.
Who unsealed it back theoretically or
It
what
was
office?
Secretary Boying, it was unsealed by the ICC.
By the ICC.
By the court, yes.
By the
Yes.
court. Okay. Let's fill in the blanks na lang factually as the circumstance what do you call this permits. But ang point ko, from the time it was unsealed, served to the president, did any government lawyers look at it muna and make a determination? Or we took it at face value, iserve na yan?
Yes, sir. Again,
You can change my words if you think
again,
prejudicial
sir,
yung word.
just to be clear, there was no contact between the government and the ICC in whatever way or form. We only received the warrant of arrest, the PCTC, on March 11, 3
Okay.
a.m.
But so when the
PCTC, sir.
Yeah, okay. When that office received it, ang marching order or ang SOP or protocol, again if my words are prejudicial, correct me, please. I don't mind. I'm not putting any bias or prejudice. I'm just speaking the way I understand it. Did anyone in the Philippine government look at it and check it out muna? Or iserve na natin to?
Sir, upon receipt of the copy, I talked to the Secretary of Justice. He reviewed it. He assumed that it had a presumption of as informed, and we subsequently informed the President of the existence of the warrant.
Okay. You concur with that?
Yes,
So, Jay,
yes.
yeah.
I reviewed.
Yeah.
It was made out to me.
This wasn't
I was in Vienna at that
Yeah,
time.
this isn't a trick question. So meaning, if you said no one reviewed, I would have asked, wouldn't it be a better protocol that someone reviewed para even before the accused goes to court? But saying that you reviewed it, I assume that you found it regular, and I won't argue with you there. I mean, I disagree that the warrant rise to the level that ipadala mo lang siya doon, dapat sa court muna. But you were satisfied at least in form. Again, I don't want to put words, form, and substance, but you know what I mean. Tinignan mo, and then okay na ano to.
Yes,
Tinignan mo, or
I
meant
gave the
your
clearance.
office. Your
I gave the clearance of the warrant.
Okay. So, again, I just want to make a point in time that for me, kung tinanggap nung accused, nung arrestuhin, okay lang. Pero kung hindi, sana may judicial review available. No, I already
Sir,
made the
it was-
point of
Sir, it was received at the first available instant that the accused allowed himself to read it.
yes. That I disagree nga kasi something this complex, 'di ba? I would have rather, I don't know if it's 15 days, 30 days, give the lawyer enough time, etc. to go there. Tapos lastly na lang siguro po kasi may mata sa gilid si Senator Amy, I think natatagalan na rin dun sa 10 minutes ko. Okay. So si SOJ naman explained the thin line between cooperation, jurisdiction, and everything. Okay, but meron representative ang government, di ba? Kasi so we turned over the arrested former President Duterte not to the Interpol, no? We turned them over to ICC.
Our Interpol representative turned him over to the ICC.
So if we were cooperating with Interpol, why didn't we turn them over to Interpol? And then sila na.
We did, sir. Mr. Lacanilao was the representative of the Interpol. He accompanied the president to the
But-
former president to The Hague.
But hindi ba dual? Kasi Mr. Lacanilao is Ambassador Marcos Lacanilao. And
He is
he's
also
the-
part of the PCTC.
Yeah, but he's the special envoy for transnational crime.
Yes, sir. And
So he's representing the Philippine government, not Interpol.
he transnational Center for Transnational Crime is Interpol, sir.
Yeah, but what I meant is that he's representing the Philippine participation in Interpol.
He was given by the president to represent the Philippines in this matter.
Yes. Ang understanding, di ba, so yung ICC, sinabi, kasi nga, wala naman sa Netherlands. Kung nasa Netherlands, then they will ask the Dutch police, di ba? But since nga, or the state police, di ba? But since wala nga, they ask, and since the state withdrew, they asked the Interpol, and Interpol, tama po ba?
Yes, sir.
So, if we were cooperating only with Interpol, dapat sinurrender natin sa Interpol.
Yes, sir. That's what we did, sir.
No, Mr. Lacanilao
He was appointed.
turned him over directly to the ICC, not to the
Yes, sir.
Interpol.
Mr. Lacanelao was given a special appointment by the president on that day, sir, on March 11, to represent the Philippines in the Interpol.
Yes, but the representative ng Interpol,
He was the representative, sir.
so dual siya, representative ng Philippines at ng International Interpol.
No, sir. If the structure of the Interpol is that the PCTC, the members of the PCTC, or as instructed by the president, becomes the representative of the Interpol. The Interpol, sir, does not mean that this international police will affect the local members of the PCTC.
Acts as the state agent.
Yes, sir.
So when it says here, representing the state authorities for the surrender, Mr. Marcos Lacanilao, in this capacity, was representing the Interpol,
Yes, sir.
not the Office of the President or the Philippine government.
No, sir.
I'll clarify that kasi usually pag special envoy, you're representing the...
He was properly documented and
Okay.
appointed, sir.
Sige, dati Lacanilao medyo mas malinaw. No. Yes, okay. So factual lang, agree to disagree on the other issues. Thank you very much, Madam Chair. Thank you to yeah.
Okay. At this juncture and due to the lateness of the hour, I'd like to get rid of some housekeeping. Matapos lang, gusto ko lang ipakita yung arig na orig nating defender ng ICC dito sa Senado. Balikan lang natin ang dating Senadora Miriam Defensor Santiago po.
As a benchmark in the progressive development of international human rights, the court represents a triumph of international criminal justice by establishing individual criminal liability for those responsible for serious violations of the Rome Statute. The salient features of the Rome Statute are as follows. Bullet, principle of complementarity, spelled P-L-E, not P-L-I, complementarity. The court will act only as a court of last resort. It acts only in exceptional cases where a court has failed to bring justice because that court is unwilling or unable to investigate and prosecute those who have the highest responsibility for the most serious crimes of concern to the international community. Kaya nakikita dito na kung merong ginawang kasalanan dito sa nakalista na mga jurisdiction ng ICC, ang magbibista niyan ay ang korte doon sa bayan na yon, hindi ang International Criminal Court in The Hague. International Criminal Court, as I said, is a court of last resort. Pag hindi mo mabigyan ng katarungan ang akusado, ayaw mo o kaya hindi mo kaya, ay saka pa lang yan pupunta sa ICC.
Okay, so narinig natin at ito yung diskurso at paliwanag pagkatapos ng ratifikasyon ng ICC dito sa Senado noong 2011. Maliwanag na Court of Last Resort ang ICC at pupunta tayo dyan kapag ayaw o hindi kaya ng ating korte dito sa Pilipinas. Ngayon, nangangamba ako pagkat ang SOJ natin, that the families or the victims of the so-called EJK were compelled to sue abroad inasmuch as there was a failure of our justice system. Hindi gumagana ang ating mga korte. Sa mabilis lang na pananalita, baka naman isa sa inyo ang pwedeng magpaliwanag dito sa kapalpakan or kawalang kakayahan ng ating korte na umanda. Yun ang sinabi. Pero ang sabi naman ni Senator Santiago, the rule of complementarity, I think the DFA is more than familiar with that. Kabisado natin yan. Lahat ng treaty, complementarity ang sabi eh. Kapag hindi na kinaya o ayaw ng mga korte sa Pilipinas, doon lang tayo hahantong sa ICC. Tama po ba yun?
Mama, pwede ho kung... Ang ano kasi dito, yung mga nagpunta sa ICC ay sinubukan nila makakuha ng hustisya sa Pilipinas. Ngunit nabigo sila.
Pero sinabi ni Senator Cayetano kanina, ni walang naghain ng kaso dito.
Yung nga,
Ni isa.
ang problema nga po rito kasi, yung mga nangyari lalo na sa Mindanao, wala ho talagang paggalaw ang mga piskal ng panahon na yun. Hindi talaga gumagalaw ang kaso. Kasi,
Ang sinasabi niyo may
Oo.
pumila.
merong mga nagreklamo, nagtangkang magreklamo, ngunit wala pong nangyari.
Pero
Yun po
hindi sila
yun ang
nag-file.
kaya napunta sa ICC.
Hihingi kami ng
Hindi ko sila kilala, ma'am, pero yun nga ang yung mga nakausap ko na nung ilang mga araw nakaraan.
Maraming salamat pero kung maaari, bigyan kami ng kopya ng DOJ kasi wala kaming kaalaman na ni isang kaso ay nahain sa anumang korte ng Pilipinas. Kayo,
Ginapin po namin, maghahanap po kami.
okay. Pero parang inaamin ngayon ng ating kabinete, lahat ng mga kinatawan na narito, na yung ating judiciary system, ang ating mga korte, hindi na gumagana.
Gumagana ang ating judiciary system.
Pero narinig natin ang dakilang senadora na nakalipas na huling hantungan lang ang ICC. Dapat hindi pupunta doon kung hindi talagang palpak na, talagang surrender na
Nga ho ito eh.
kinakaya.
Ilang taon na nga ho silang nagpunta sa ICC. Hindi lang naman ngayon po yan eh. Sila po yung nagpunta sa ICC noong 2016, 2017. Hindi pa ho, panahon pa ho ni Pangulong Duterte. Nakademanda na ho, nagdedemanda na po sila. Yun ho, dapat maging maliwanag dito.
Sige,
Hindi po sila nagpunta ron nung 3 years ago lang. Nagpunta po sila ron 8 or 9 years ago, nandun na po sila. Kasi marami po rito, yung mga nangyari po sa Davao, nung mayor pa ho si President Duterte.
So sana maibigay sa amin ang listahan ng mga kasong hinain nito sa Pilipinas na hindi naman na umusad, na talagang walang pag-asang gumpay. Isa yon. Ikalawa, nakailang beses na sinasabi ng ating Pangulo paulit-ulit na umaandar ang mga korte dito, mahuhusay ang ating mga huwes at abogado. Bakit biglang inaamin natin na pumalpak ang ating korte?
Ayun nga, nagkaroon ng panahon na talagang wala hong nangyari sa mga kaso na EJK eh. Talagang wala hong nangyari.
Pero may kaso ba?
Nga ho eh, wala nga, hindi eh. Ganun ho kahirap imbestigahan ang mga kasong yan. Magsisimula kasi tayo, pag tayo po'y nabigyan ng ulat na may
Araw-
nagdedemanda, ang una po natin hahanapin police report. Kasi
Araw-araw,
at least sila po ang naglalagay ng recording ng lahat ng pangyayari sa kanilang mga komunidad. Eh kung police report po wala, saan kayo magsisimula ngayon? Tapos sa mga police na ilipat na sa iba't ibang lugar, wala na makausap.
si General Marbil nandito, si General Torre nandito, siguradong pagtitibayin nila na araw-araw may marbles sa blata ng pulis. Pangkaraniwan na krimen
Hindi po sa drug war. Hindi po sa drug
nangyayari
war.
yan.
Sa drug war po, wala pong blatter ang police. Marami nga walang blatter eh. Ang problema nga ho dito, napakarami hong namatay na ang death certificate nga nakalagay po cardiac arrest pero may butas po sa ulo mula sa bala.
So
Yun ang
tama yung
kakaiba.
so yun ang sinasabi ninyo, failure of our justice system.
Opo, nung panahon na yon.
So, suko
Nagkaroon
tayo
tayo ng
doon.
problema nung panahon na yon na hindi ho talaga maimbestigahan na maayos kasi pati ho ang piskal tinatakot po ng pulis nung panahon na yun eh.
Ngayong panahon ngayon, hindi ba pwedeng magaya?
Hindi ngayon ho, mas maayos kayo.
kung mas
Sapagkat sinisigurado po namin na ang piskal at ang pulis ay magkasama mag-imbestiga ng mga krimen. Hindi na ho katulad ng dati. Kung ano sabihin ng pulis dapat masunod.
kung mas maayos ngayon, ba't hindi na lang magpila ng kaso dito sa Pilipinas? Pala eh, nag-iba na.
Hindi ko ho pwedeng tanongin yon sa mga nagdemanda sa ICC. Hindi naman po namin hawak yung mga taong yun eh. Hindi ho namin sila kilala.
Ma'am, as a matter of suggestion, if I may, ma'am, as stated by the Secretary of Justice, na yung mga biktima ng EJK, ang mga police report nila ay cardiac arrest pero may buta sa ulo. That numbers in the thousands, ma'am. Why does the Senate try to investigate that and investigate the circumstances surrounding that? Maybe, ma'am, you can come up with a more cohesive report regarding this matter.
Yes,
I'm
ma'am.
not trying to put words in your mouth, ma'am, on what to do. It's merely a suggestion.
No,
But
I
when you have a
already
police
asked.
force,
I
ma'am.
already asked the SOJ earlier kung may listahan.
Ma'am, but there is no investigation, ma'am, into the deaths by cardiac arrest, but with a hole in the head.
Kaya nga
Did the
sinasabi
Senate
may
did that, ma'am?
listahan.
Did the Senate
Magtulungan
investigate
tayo.
it, ma'am? Did the
Po?
Senate investigate it? Try to investigate deaths by cardiac arrest, but with bullet holes in the head?
Parang nalilito ako kasi yung Kian de los Santos, may 3 pulis na na-convict ng murder. So hindi natin masasabi na
Homicide po.
Ang ating
Homicide
mga
ang
korte.
binigay na conviction. Hindi po murder.
Okay.
That is
Ano
one
nga?
of several
Well,
thousand, ma'am.
nevertheless, hindi masasabi na zero. Kahit pa paano.
Actually, meron na ho
may
ano eh.
nahatulan.
May, kung hindi ako nagkakamali, 16 na ang nahalukay ni Dr. Raquel Fortun ng mga taong ang death certificate po ay nagsasabi na walang naging problema pero ang autopsy nakikita pong may butas po sa ulo.
Pero sabi nga ninyo, noon, hindi pwede. Dahil natatakot, nag-iilang, hindi kakayanin. Pero ngayon, bakit hindi magpila ng kaso sa Pilipinas?
Ano ho yan?
Nakita natin, sabi mo, may katibayan tayo sa 15. Ayan, kay Doktora Fortun. Andyan, meron nakikita, may nakumpita.
Ano ho eh, marami ho kasing komplikasyon ang pag-iimbestiga ng ganitong kaso.
Di ba lalong
Ang isa
komplikado
ho
kung
talagang mahalagang
kakalat ka rin pa hanggang
Hindi,
mas
pero
madali na dito.
isang katulad po niyan, yung ballistics. Pag may nangyari pong pagyayari na may binarel o may pinatay, ang po dyan, yung scene of the crime preserved, ballistic, wala man ballistic report, wala man police report. Kaya pinabayaan ko eh, yung na talagang nangyari sa atin na napakatagal na panahon, na wala na nga hong gumagawa ng real evidence, lahat po testimonial evidence na lang. Kaya nakaproblema po talaga ang justice system. Yung po yung kinokorek namin ngayon, ma'am.
Paano niyo i-correct yan? Kung cold file yan, di cold file lalo Amsterdam. Kasi pahaba yung panahon. Kung walang katibayan, walang physical evidence, kahit dalhin mo, kalagkarin mo yan sa ICC.
Yung sistema ho ngayon, basta
mas lalong
meron hong
wala.
demanda, kinakailangan pong magsama ang pulis at para naman maging maayos ang kaso. Kasi hindi naman pwede iutos ng piskal sa pulis na gawin ng kanya-kanyang trabaho, dapat po magsama sila. Yun po ang gist ng aming training program ngayon between the police enforcers and the fiscals.
Tapos itatransmit pa yan sa ICC, di ba? Di mas mahaba yung proseso, mas natagalan pa tayo, mas kawawa yung mga pinatay o allegedly na murder, mas hahaba pa yung proseso eh. Kung dito, di harap-harapan na lang na matapos na. Hindi po ba?
Sana po mga magawa natin to hanggang sa mga susunod na taon.
Kasi sabi
Ito
ninyo,
ho'y talaga
nagbago na eh.
sinisikap namin na talagang baguhin ang sistema. Hindi ho madali. Pero di kami nawawalan ng pag-asa na marami na hong pagbabago nangyayari sa sistema natin.
Yes. Pwedeng mag-suspend lang ng 5 minutes or 2 minutes. Everyone can go and have a little boys' room break. Yung katanungan kung bakit hindi pumila ng kaso dito sa Pilipinas imbes na ICC pagkat ayaw nating tanggapin yung pag-aamin na hindi na talaga umaandar ang korte rito, wala nang bisa ang mga huwes at wala nang pakinabang ang mga abogado. Hindi naman yata katanggap-tanggap yun. Pero kung maaari, yung SOJ, bigyan kami ng listahan ng mga kaso. Ang huli na lang yung Article 59 of the Rome Statute, lahat ng tao naging expert na tungkol dyan. Yun nga, anong masasabi natin tungkol sa applicability? Kung talagang yung Rome Statute does not apply kasi hindi na nga party there too, sabi ng DFA. And may Pangilinan versus Cayetano case pa. So ano ang pakinabang nito? At is it legally binding? Nag-a-apply pa ba ang Article 59, lalo na yung first paragraph, na ginagamit ang pangalan state parties. Samantalang sa second paragraph, which provides for the right to be brought before local courts, ang sinasabi hindi state parties kundi custodial state. So ibig sabihin, very liberal ang construction in favor of the accused. Pwede sa sarili niyang bansa saan man siya dinala. Di ba? Tama po yun? Applicable ba to sa kaso ni Presidente Duterte?
Hindi na ho natin kinikilala ang ICC eh. Hindi na ho tayo kasama sa ICC. Kaya hindi tayo saklaw ng kanyang mga probisyon. Ang aming pong ginamit na batas dito ay Republic Act 9851. Yun po yung international
paulit-ulit
humanitarian
naman
law.
tayo dyan sa RA 9851 sa Section 17. Kaya lang, ang gobyerno, paulit-ulit na sinasabi na meron tayong obligasyon na tumulong kahit hindi na tayo membro. Kaya nalilito ako, member tayo, tumutulong tayo, pero hindi applicable yung Article 59. Ano ba talaga? Are we or aren't we?
Yun nga ho ang yung pagkakaiba ng pagpaningin natin. Kasi ang tingin ko po, ang mahalaga sa ating ngayon yung domestic law natin. Ngayon, dahil ang ICC ay humingi ng tulong sa Interpol, nangyari
Ang liwanag po ng Interpol, sinabi na hindi wanted si Presidente Duterte ng Interpol, wanted ng ICC, sila lang ang ginamit na kasangkapan.
ganun nga ho yun. Ganun pa rin. Pero
Hindi ganun yun.
ano ho kasi?
Minsan, maraming wanted talaga sa Interpol. Matindi dito sa Pilipinas yung child pornography, very active po dyan, kaya kabisado ko. Kaya nagtataka po ako, hindi naman siya wanted sa Interpol. Ng Interpol, tapos hindi tayo bahagi ng ICC, ba't nagkaganto?
Hindi naman ho kami nag-withdraw sa ICC ang Pangulong Duterte po. Kaya hindi na tayo kabahagi ng ICC.
Wala namang kinalaman doon. Hindi ini-invoke kasi ninyo yung ICC at yung Interpol. Samantala nga, hindi na nga tayo.
Actually, ang talaga hong ini-invoke namin, Republic Act 9851.
Okay? At ang liwanag naman, miski sa 9851, sa last sentence, must be pursuant to applicable extradition laws. Hindi ba? Ang liwanag.
Opo,
ng
last
kahulihan.
ho yan. Last sentence po yan.
Oo.
Pero mahaba pa yung paragraph bago dumating yan.
Hong Kong special admin sa Hong Kong SAR versus Olalia. Ang liwanag niyan, di ba? Kinilala talaga ang right for bail nung arestado at accused. Pareho naman to ng Article 59 kasi yung arrested person has a right to apply for interim release. Di pareho rin yun. In effect, dun sa ating nag-ruling sila na halos eksakto ang epekto sa Article 59.
Yan po, bahala na po ang ICC dyan. Hindi na ho namin makukuha.
Ako, ICC na naman.
Andun po kasi ang Pangulo eh. Ang dating Pangulo, ICC po. Kaya kung meron ho nang gusto ng provisional liberty, doon ho sila apply. Wala na ho kami magagawa doon. In fact, ito hong pinag natin sa judice na naman po ito. Yan naman ang problema rito.
So yung binabanggit na liberty of abode ni Attorney Medina kanina sa ating konstitusyon, wala nang aplikasyon.
Yan po, pero sa akin ang tingin ko puro sa liberty of abode na yon, parang that's the rule of search warrants eh. Yun po yung aking nakikitang konteksto nun.
Palagay ko hindi naman limitado doon, ano? Anyway, Siguro para lang makapag-aral kami ng gusto sa susunod, baka naman makapagbigyo ng 2 o 3 pang mga Pilipino na inaresto ng ating pamahalaan na walang warrant of arrest, tapos dinala sa ibang bansa na wala namang court order na galing.
Marami ho yan. Ito po yung mga foreigners, karamihan po. Hindi pa nga Pilipino.
Then, tinatanong ko po yung Filipino citizen. Kasi syempre yung foreigners...
Ito po, this is a case of first impression. Hindi pa ho nangyayari ito. But I have to, it is a case of first impression. Hindi pa ho nangyayari ito sa kasaysayan natin.
Kaya nalilito po kami kasi yung DOJ dati talagang pinagpitan na nag-comply sa Article 59. Ngayon, sinasabi na hindi na kailangan na dalhin sa local authorities at parang may sinasabi na halos judge na kayo. Paano naman nangyari naging naroon ng judicial powers?
Yun po yung binigay sa atin na options ng batas, 9851, Section 17 po.
Palagay ko hindi tama yun. Attorney Medina, talaga bang DOJ was vested by the Constitution with judicial power? Kailan naman po nangyari yun? Sa bahagi ng ating saligang batas naging huwes ang ating DOJ?
Wala kaming claim to judicial power. Dito po, executive action po ang aming ginawa. In accordance with Section 17.
Pero hindi nga po
Article
alien.
9851.
Hindi nga pwedeng isurrender kasi hindi nga alien. Pilipino man siya.
Hindi ho, malinaw. Gusto basahin ko ulit for the record para malinaw.
Alam na. Oo.
Kasi,
baka naman si attorney
baka minsan nalilimutan natin yung nasa saklaw ng batas eh. Babasahin ko po hindi.
Hindi. Alam ko na yon. Oo. Yes, please, Attorney Medina, may idadagdag kayo. Hindi ba yung Constitution, wala naman judicial power? Kaya pinagpipilitan natin na bumalik sa korte.
I'll be consistent with my previous opinion, Your Honor. The right to liberty can only be, the deprivation of the right to liberty can only be judged by a court of law. Assuming that executive officials would have the power to make a final adjudication on the right to liberty of an individual, at the very least, that individual whose right to liberty is at risk should still be accorded administrative due process at the very least, which means still notice, opportunity to be heard, and a decision by an impartial tribunal. So the fusion, what the Constitution wants to prevent is the fusion of executive and judicial power in the hands of one person. One American constitutional expert declared that as a form of tyranny. So I'm not casting aspersion on the actions of the executive officials involved. I'm sure they consider the legality, and I'm sure they're willing to present clear legal basis for their actions. It's a matter for the courts to settle po. Maraming salamat po.
Maraming salamat, Attorney. Ang tukoy ko, SOJ Remulla, etong sinabi ni ASEC Nico Clavano, 13, sinabi niya the Justice Department and the prosecutors can be considered competent judicial authority. Hindi po kayo nagsabi nito, kundi prosecutors were present during the service of the warrant and somehow they magically turned into the judiciary.
Then, if that is your opinion, ma'am. I will
It's not
respect
my
your
opinion. I'm just quoting the statement derived from your spokesman, sir.
I'm sure that that was meant in a figurative manner, ma'am. It's not meant literally.
Ipapatuloy ko, kapag sinabi natin na kailangan padalhin sa korte dahil siya ay mag-a-attest, yung judge naman po, wala naman doon. Hindi naman niya na-witness yung pag-serve ng warrant hanggang sa pagbasa ng Miranda rights. So sabi niya, yung complementarity, hindi naman importante until such time as the state is unwilling or unable to prosecute the same crime. So parang naging judge na rin yung SOJ. Papayag ba kayo ng ganon? Yun lang ang tanong.
Hindi po yun ang aming gustong sabihin dito. Yun po mga salitang ginamit lamang dahil sa sitwasyon ng pinag-uusapan. Ngunit wala akong intensyon na sabihin kami po ay hukuman. Hindi po kami hukuman.
Maraming salamat sa paliwanag dahil ito sa sinabi ninyo nung budget hearing nung nakaraan na taon na di judicial authority ang SOJ. Hindi katulad ng sinabi ng spokesman ninyo, kundi kinakailangan bumalik at bumalik pa rin sa korte na Pilipino dito sa ating bansa. Maraming salamat. Wala na po akong tanong at napakahaba na po ng hearing. Nagpapaumanhin ako sa inyong lahat. This hearing of the Committee on Foreign Relations is hereby suspended. Maraming salamat sa lahat ng cabinet member na nagbigay ng panahon para sa atin. Maraming salamat po. Teka, so kauna-unahang pagkaalam mo tungkol dito sa warrant mula sa Interpol nung Marso 11, ika-11 ng Marso, tama ba?
Yes, Madam Chair.
Sigurado kayo
Yes, Madam Chair.
Oo, okay. So, but you just said na it doesn't go to you directly. Sabi mo, dumadaan muna sa transnational crime. Pwede ba natin tanungin ang ating head ng transnational crime? Andito po si Executive Director Alcantara. Kayo ba ang una nakatanggap nitong galing sa Interpol?
Magandang umaga po, Madam Chair. Tama po yun. Ang NCB Manila ang tumanggap po at 3 o'clock in the morning nung diffusion na sinasabi na may warrant of arrest na po ang ating dating Pangulo at yun po ang ginamit namin, pinan-out namin.
Tapos pinadala ninyo kaagad sa kapulisan?
Law enforcement agencies po ang mga pinadala natin, ang National Bureau of Investigation, ang Philippine National Police, ang Bureau of Immigration at pinadalang ko rin po ang Department of Justice.
Okay. Maraming salamat. At may dadagdag yata si Secretary John Vic.
Wala na, ma'am. Wala na, ma'am.
Okay. At was a red notice, itong tinatawag na red notice, iyon ba ang pinadala ng Interpol, Executive Director Alcantara? Kasi ang binanggit mo ngayon, diffusion.
Ang dumating
Kasi-
po sa atin ay isang diffusion, isang commonly tinatawag na red diffusion.
Teka, ang pagkaalam ko, iba ang notice at
Opo.
iba ang diffusion. Iklaro po ninyo, alin na natanggap?
Papaliwanag ko po. Ipapaliwanag ko po. Ang red notice po ay a request for international police cooperation that has been applied for by a member country or entity that are distributed to every member of the organization.
Opo, alam natin yon.
Okay
Pero
po.
ang sabi kanina, red notice ang natanggap. Ngayon ang sinasabi mo, hindi red notice, kundi diffusion lamang.
Tama po.
Alin ba talaga?
Diffusion po.
Walang red notice.
Nagkakaroon po ang general public or everybody ng
Pero alam natin na hindi
Pero
magkapareho yun.
it's equivalent po to a red notice.
Hindi po.
Ang red
Mas alam ninyo ito sa akin.
Opo,
Ang
opo.
diffusion po, hindi red notice.
hindi
Tignan
po,
lang
hindi po,
natin ang
hindi nga po.
website.
Ang diffusion po is a request for international police cooperation that is coming from an entity or another member country that is directed to another member country or
Tama,
several
oo.
countries. Yun po ang pagkakaiba.
Sa member to member,
Opo.
it's an unverified report requesting for information, humihingi lang, makikipakilang sa kapwa member na kung maaari, tulungan ninyo kami. Pero hindi siya verified, hindi siya dumadaan sa kanilang commissioner, hindi siya pinopost sa website katulad ng red notice.
But
Tama po ba?
It went through the police of the organization's police database. Pumasok din po yon sa database.
Pumasok sa database for unverified. Maliwanag
Oo.
siya, di ba?
Ipapaliwanag
Di ba
po
ganon?
na-
So, hindi po red notice ang natanggap. Tama?
Diffusion po. Red diffusion. And more technical po, it's a wanted person diffusion.
Tama.
More technical.
So, walang red notice. Kapag walang pag-diffusion lang, ang pagkaintindi natin, humingi lang ng impormasyon, di ba?
Hindi po. Meron po tinatawag na red diffusion, blue diffusion.
Oo, maraming kulay yun eh.
Yung sinasabi po niyo na humihingi lang ng impormasyon is blue diffusion.
Okay,
Information.
may kulay ba ito? Yung
Eh,
pinadala sa atin, anong kulay ng diffusion?
Ito po ay wanted person diffusion.
So, walang red notice.
Hindi po siya red notice.
Nakatanggap pa tayo ng red notice at any point?
Itong pong wanted person diffusion na to, pagpasok po sa Interpol sa Leon, pa-process po ng notices and diffusion.
Opo, alam po natin
Okay.
yon. Alam natin yung procedure.
Ang kasunod
Madalas
po nun,
na natin ginawa yan eh.
Kasunod po nun, mag-i-issue sila ng red notice. But this
Teka.
time, dahil po may urgency, they decided na it will go through by
So lumundag na
diffusion.
tayo mula sa diffusion, hindi man lang na-confirm, hindi man lang napagtibayan, hindi man lang nadaan sa commissioner nila, hindi man lang nailagay sa website o naging opisyal, lumundag na po tayo. Sa diffusion pa lang yan mo. Hindi, kasi inaamin ninyo, wala namang red notice kailanman.
It is our job to find it out immediately, disseminate immediately, because the nature of the diffusion is...
Bakit si Congressman Arnie Teves may red notice na, hindi pa natin nagagawa ng paraan?
Hindi ko po masagot.
Ma'am, yung kay Arnie Teves, kaya ho siya nahuli sa East Timor ay dahil sa red notice. Yun ang
Yes.
dahilan.
Oo, klaro po yun, yung red notice. Kaya nga, ang pagkaintindi namin, red notice din ang sinasabi. Ngayon, lumalabas na wala kailanman na lumabas na red notice mula sa Interpol, kundi diffusion lamang.
Baka dahil sa panahon, kasi mabilis po ang pagganap ng yung mga pangyayari. Mabilis po nangyayari. Kaya marahil, sa ordinaryong pagkakataon, nandyan po ang red notice. Dito, wala akong pagkakataon marahil.
Madam Chair, gusto
So,
ko...
ibig sabihin, ang katotohanan, walang red notice. Mag-ingat po kayo, you're under oath, makokontempt po tayo. Dahil na pagbibigyan natin, kasi sabi, red notice, yung pala, hindi red notice, nasa diffusion na po. There was no red notice and what was issued was merely a diffusion. Pakita po natin, may pagkakaiba yan, matindi. So, itong diffusion, hindi yan pinagtitibay ng Interpol Secretariat. Hindi dumaan sa commissioner. Tama po ba?
Meron pong disclaimer to say that it did not go to a review of the notices and task force diffusion. So, may
So,
disclaimer. Pero,
nag-mobilize ang pamahalaan ng libo-libo, 7,000 ang pinagmalaki na kapulisan para sa isang request for information ng Interpol na unverified. Pinahihingi lang. Walang sinasabing nagmamadali. Pero lahat ng government resources pinaandar na dahil sa simpleng request sa kapwa membro. Tama po?
ang iko-correct ko po ay hindi information ang hinihingi po. It is a wanted person notice, diffusion notice. Diffusion. Hindi po siya
Diffusion notice.
wanted person po ang nandoon.
Okay, pakita natin. Medyo maliit ang letra, pero basahin natin. Pwede bang palakihin para mabasa na maigi pa? Okay. So, maliwanag. Tama po na dumating ng 3:04 ba to?
Correct po. Tama.
Ng umaga, Arian. Maliwanag. Tapos, ang request dito, after prior consultation with the government of the Philippines. So, hindi totoo na March 11, 3 a.m. lang ninyo nalaman. Kasi nakasabi dito sa page 1, after prior consultation with the government of the Philippines who have agreed to comply with this request. Ibig sabihin, ang pamahalaan ay nakausap na, una, ikalawa, sumang-ayon na. So, ibig sabihin, ito formal transmittal lang. Walang sinasabi dito na biglaan ito. Kaya nga, March 10 pa lang 7,000 ang pulis na ang minobilize eh. Bakit sinasabing ganito?
Yung sinasabi po niyo na...
Hindi, binabasa ko lang
Opo,
to eh.
opo. Ang matatanong po natin dyan ay yung nagpadala po nung... yung nag-apply po, ICC. Sila po naglagay niyan eh. Hindi po tayo.
Ibig ko nagsisinungaling ang Interpol?
Hindi po Interpol ang nagsisinungaling. Yung gumawa...
Pero ang Interpol ang sinasabi ninyo eh. Sabi nila dito eh, itong diffusion ng Interpol pagkatapos ng konsultahan sa pamahalaan. Tapos sinasabi pa rito na hugas kamay ang Interpol at hindi pa sila gumagawa ng compliance review. Hindi pa nila naimbestigahan, hindi pa nila napapatunayan itong diffusion. At kung may duda, sabihan na lang sila kasi hindi pa daw nila naaasikaso.
Yan yung sinusunod nilang format, ma'am. Hindi ho lahat na sinasabi dyan ay gano'n na lang po ang katotohanan kasi nag-iingat lang po sila na makatabig sila na mali. Kaya marami ho silang paniguradong mga salita sa kanilang form letter. Form letter po yan eh.
Sasabihin nila na
Nagaya ho niya, nung sinabi na
meron silang
pagkatapos
konsultasyon pero
makipag-ugnay sa gobyerno ng Republika ng Pilipinas, ang palaisipan ko po, sino ang kausap dito? Dahil hindi naman po kami ang kausap.
sinasabi ninyo palusot lang to, hindi to totoo.
Hindi po, yun yung
Paano
form
tayo
letter.
maniniwala sa Interpol
Yun
nito?
po yung kanilang form letter. Kaya, kung ako, hindi ko ho alam talaga kung sinong kausap, pero may sinasabi po dyan na meron silang kausap. Pero ako, wala akong kaalaman.
Baka alam ng kapulisan, sino ho ang kausap, baka alam ni Secretary Anyo. Ang liwa-liwanag dito, hindi naman ako nagchichismis o naghahaka-haka. Ang liwanag eh, nakausap na daw yung gobyerno at sumang-ayon na daw ang gobyerno na arestuhin. Paano ba to?